You are listening to Women Tech Talk and returning to our part two segment of Google Problems Podcast. So let's go back to the qualifications and the data that we went through before when you said, hey, when a woman looks at a qualifications and they say, look, I don't have those other three, I'm not even going to apply. On the other hand, a man said, I don't have those three, but I'm going to apply anyway.
Yeah.
So they're going to get the job.
Yeah, they said that. He said that in the meeting with me. He said, well, I don't understand. Well, men don't have no experience and they apply for the position.
Yeah, but women don't. So
Yeah.
you need to stop. Then you need to change your dialogue within that document, your qualification. Because when they don't have that, you're making it a requirement. And with women, they know they will be scrutinized because they don't have 100%. Men said, I don't need to have 100%, but I can get it.
Yeah.
So they're confident enough to say, yeah, I'll get that. Women aren't confident because even when they're qualified, they don't get the job. So why apply for some place that they don't have all the qualification and I'm going to jobs and not getting the job anyway?
Exactly.
So that's the terrible part. So he needs to see outside of his current culture, to your point. Do they need to say cater to her? No. Cater to her culture. Cater to women. You have to cater to women because if you get one, you need more than one.
Yeah, but then again, that culture for women is what like I said, that one person, every woman that comes in there, he's going to have to find a way to make her feel that they will embrace her more than she has to embrace them.
So the problem is it's a small company. So it's no more than how many people?
He has maybe about 20.
See? So his issue was to prepare them.
And they just got what is it they got? Because they're right here. They just got a $8.8 million Series A round funding.
So again, he has to prepare his current employees for the addition. That shouldn't be hard, baby. Honestly, that shouldn't be hard. And the reason why it shouldn't be hard is the conversation is, look, guys, we're trying to be more diverse because what we're doing, we have to have other perspectives. If we don't have these other perspectives, we're not catering to the total market. You don't know what women want.
See, and the thing
Not
is,
one of you know what a woman wants.
and that's the thing, baby. Sitting down with them, they were floored. They didn't understand why, and I had to explain to them. And it was just like I just told him, said, "Look, this is for real." You know, I mean, He's like, well, I said, you got to understand that. I mean, yeah, I understand, baby. Yeah, we know every woman is different, but when it comes down to getting them to come work for you, that's a whole nother story.
I got you, but when you make general statements that's on the high end, is just say, well, women have to be treated special. That's all they hear, whether you like it or not. But when you say, look at your culture currently, you got 20 men. Y'all go hang out. Y'all go drink. Y'all do all of this. And you think you got a great, really concise team. You're really comfortable with that. But you want women there because you want your company to be better. And your company will be better with a diverse view, a diverse perspective. So what y'all was doing, if y'all want to continue to do that, that's fine. But you're going to have to conform to this woman may want to do other things. And if she's doing other things and part of her pastime is something different than what you're doing and you want to make her inclusive, what are you going to do to change for that? Because what you want her to be is comfortable. When she's comfortable, she can contribute. When she's uncomfortable, she's not going to contribute 100%. She's going to acquiesce to whatever y'all do because she wants to keep her job until she can find another job because this isn't comfortable.
And see, I did also mention to them, have they bothered to interview minority men? I didn't just talk about women. I talk about minority men as well. And it's like, well, we interview a couple of them. Yeah, but you didn't bring one in.
Yeah, were they qualified?
Exactly. So even so, even though they may want that woman, I was like, yeah, you need to go on this side too.
So I think, and not saying men, because I am a minority man, but I think the spectrum should be women. And the reason why I'm saying women is because that's a truly different perspective.
Yeah, I understand
It's
that.
truly a different perspective.
Baby, I totally agree with that. But the thing is that if you want to diversify
Yeah.
your organization, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I can understand you bringing 2-3 women. Totally understand that. But you ain't got no black men either.
No. We have Asian men there?
Oh,
So,
maybe I think one or two Indian.
okay. So,
And then again, now you got to remember that the visa thing.
yeah.
That's a whole nother thing too, because they probably can't deal with that at the time with the money.
So that I agree with that. I think the culture right now and the ability to have better perspective for a product that you're trying to put out needs to have a gender difference. I'm not saying don't look for an African American man, a Hispanic man. I'm not saying not to look at them, but you need to get the gender difference within your company.
Right. And
because if your product is being sold to everybody, you have to have someone who says, I don't want that.
and see,
That doesn't make sense to me.
But see,
or I wouldn't buy that.
another thing is that the product they have, about 70% of women are using their product.
So
And that's
why would you have 20 freaking men up there making decisions for women? So even though 70% is using it, they probably can get a bump up and they would probably use it more often if it showed that it catered to them a little more.
Yeah, because
The number says it though.
And that's the thing. Another thing is too, if I'm looking at your website, how many other women are looking at your website?
They're absolutely looking at your website.
Mm-hmm.
They are absolutely looking at that.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that they're not.
Yeah.
And that's what bothers me is because a lot of these companies don't take that in consideration because they're not looking at if somebody buys your product. If you make a pair of female jeans and it sells 1,000 of them, cool. It's all men who made the jeans. That's fine. But the problem is you only got 1,000 and you're trying to get more. If you had women, they'd be like, you know what? This is one, but you need to put it in this size too.
Yeah,
No. They're buying this. Yeah, I know, but you're not catering to every goddamn body.
And then they're requesting that there be a senior level developer. You know, I was like, and they make it seem like it's that easy. The way they're.
Why would a senior level developer leave where they're at? Why? A senior level. That doesn't make sense.
And I told him, I said, so are you not willing to work with somebody junior?
And move them up?
And build them? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, so these are the things that, you know, as men who own these startup businesses, that's what they want. But that's not what's happening. It's just hard to, you know, it's almost like they're saying, I'm lowering my standards to fill the position. It's not you lowering your.
You're really not.
I mean, these women are skilled. They know what they're doing.
So, this is an opinion. Because my presentation would be, you need specialty people to enhance your company. Okay, well, what do you mean by that? I said, so you got 20 men. What other perspective that you need from a specialty position? Well, someone who probably knows more about women. Your specialty position is a woman. So you're not lowering your standards. You're getting exactly the specialty that you need. Because these men may think they know what women. I may think that I know what women need to be in positions, but I'm not a woman. So I can't truly say this is what they need. I can't do that. And I'm all in for women. But I can't truly, honestly say this is what women want.
And so now, so seeing it in that way, seeing how where you're seeing a startup company deal with just filling a position for women, Google's having that same goddamn problem. And
So,
it's not. I mean, let me correct that. All of the tech companies is having that problem, even as
but
big as
Google's in
they
the
are.
highlight. So Google's is in the highlight because the other article that came out was there's three female employees, ex-employees, are suing because of they were being paid less than men, and this was recent. This was on September 14th that came out. And the suit came out that previous Tuesday in Superior Court in San Francisco. They said Google knew or should have known about the pay disparity between men and women at the company, but failed to take action to rectify it. So these women are saying, oh, you knew you was paying us less. We told you that they was paying us less. You knew as soon as men are being hired and women were being hired, you're paying us different. You knew that. So now, address it. They may not be there. But the point is, this is what y'all doing. Y'all need to address this. So not only are you being discriminatory, not only are you racially not accommodating women or gender-wise not accommodating women, you're not even paying them the same. So you have so many issues that's going on, and you have so much disconnect from the executive group that these things are going to continue to go out until you change the culture. So back to your point, you don't fit our culture. You don't fit well, your culture is wrong. What I said for you earlier, baby, it's not accommodating to the women. It's you already had a toxic culture. You think you can bring just anybody into a toxic culture? You're wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
you have a toxic culture.
Yeah, and Google hadn't, and Google, even though they were trying to bring in all these minorities, they didn't bother to clean up the mess they already had in there.
Exactly. So if you have a room full of races, but you're saying we're going to hire 15 women, but we're going to sprinkle them throughout these different departments, these women are still going to be dealing with races. So they're going to leave. Why is these women leaving? And the people in those areas was like, they wasn't qualified anyway. They didn't see that they pressured them to be uncomfortable. So remember, I'll give you a good visual. When we were looking at Hidden Figures, and these black women were going into these areas to work, and they were just treating them disrespectfully. They could have just said, I can't tolerate this, I'm out of here. But they knew their job, they knew they was contributing, and they dealt with it.
And see,
so a lot of women won't do that. They're like, look, I can get me another job.
And see, this is the thing too. Like, with a software engineer, a lot of women are front end developers. A lot of the women are front. Very few of them are back end developers. Very few of them are mobile, and that's why you see the problem in technology. You know, in the tech community, because Google, in the Google hire, in the article they said most of the women were front end developers, whereas the men were back end developers.
I got you.
And so that means that the back end developer got paid more than the front end developers.
That's fine, but that doesn't mean that back end developers weren't women. And when they did hire a back end developer, they should have got paid the same when the men.
But she said she had experience as a back end developer, a job that involved managing large systems like servers and databases, but was assigned to a front end engineer role dealing with part of the services that user interact with. So she had the experience, but they didn't want to give her that position.
Yeah, so that's an issue. I don't understand why that should be an issue. So I always look at, and I think we talked about it too. I think the responsibility lies with HR. If your HR doesn't understand what's going on and how you hiring and how to regulate and to build a social culture of diversity, fairness, and a code of conduct that they actually are part of, none of this is going to work.
Yeah, but the thing is that you probably are right, but then again, they're probably saying make sure that the men are back end and women make a better front end.
No, I'm going to tell you what really probably, no, I don't know. But what I speculate was happening is those managers is kind of like, no, I don't think I've seen some of her work. I think she does better with this. And when the manager go to HR is lazy and go, oh, gotcha. And then they move on. Except for HR saying, gotcha. But here's where my problem is. You have all men in these positions and you have all women in these positions. I think we need to have a training process to get these people up to par. If you get these women up to par, you'll have a back end well educated and well worked female developer. That's what we need. HR should be that advocate, because sometimes, and people fail to acknowledge that, some of the managers, a lot of the managers, are the problem. The managers allow these guys to say these things. The managers condone this behavior and ignores it. So if the manager is allowing these people within there to look at it that way, or is too ignorant to realize that, because I mean, you talk to these CEOs that said, "Damn, I wasn't aware of that." Yeah, he was ignorant. It's not stupid. He was ignorant. Ignorant is meaning I do not know.
Yeah, because I mean, for somebody to recommend for him to talk to me, the director of Women of Code, and basically explain to him, like, dude, you ain't. I mean, I hate to. I want to say you're not the only one who think this way.
You should say that. You know why? Because then he can realize. So you wouldn't hurt his ego. That's why. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't hurt his ego by saying, "You should know this," or "This is what's going on because this is what you don't know." You would make his ego feel better. There's a lot of CEOs and managers that's not aware. The issue is they need, like what you were saying, is they need consultants to come in and give them that information like you just gave them. Mm-hmm. If they don't have these consultants who come in with experience, they just going to think they're doing everything right. Because you got a probably HR department or an outside resource that says, "Oh, you're fine. You're within standards."
They're doing their own interviews.
Like yeah.
They're doing their own interviews. They're putting the jobs on their website. And the thing is that, Alicia, you think that, you can post, I said, it needs to be rewritten. And I'm not going to rewrite it because you ain't paying me to do that shit.
Well, they didn't pay you to consult either.
Yeah. So I gave them, that was a given because somebody,
I know it was a referral.
Yeah.
No, I got that.
So
but what I'm saying is these guys, to your point, is unaware. They are unaware that their actions can be taken as negative. Their actions of showing that they have no women there is, I don't want to be there with all these men. I've been in that already. Their action shows the activity that they do isn't conducive to what I do. I don't want to be around that. Their actions show there's no women there now. What kind of position would I'm going to be in? So everything you showed me makes me uncomfortable. There's nothing showing me that I'll be comfortable there. It's probably a good pay and it's probably a good position. But if I'm not comfortable, I'm getting the hell up out of here. There's a lot of jobs that pay you a shitload of money. One of them is Amazon. But if they work the shit out of you, it doesn't matter about the money. You're not comfortable. You're being pressured. I'll take less money to get the hell up out of here. Mm-hmm. Same thing with women. I got these men that's saying these gender-based jokes and keep me out of situations. I can't even talk to these guys because there's nothing that we relate to or anything. That's fine if you don't relate to that, but you have to respect what she is as a woman. You have to respect that. You don't have to say, I need to start looking at Scandal. I need to start reading these books that women... We're not telling the guys to do that. But what we are telling you is, that's enough of these freaking women-hating jokes or jokes that disparages women or disrespect. You can't have that. I was wrong for allowing this to happen, but it stops today. Mm-hmm. You will be held accountable if I hear one word that way. Well, man, it's the freedom of, not at this job. If the management doesn't reinforce that, the problem is it will continue and you will never get women in there. You won't get the women that you want in there. You just won't.
I mean, that's something that, right now, they got the money they have to work on. So they may have to, he hasn't contacted me back yet. So, and it's been last month. Yeah. And so I guess we'll find out what he's going to do. But from what we're going back to the article, um, the lawsuit is with the Labor Department is now given as a lawsuit because they said there is, after reviewing all of their data, they said there's a one in, what does it say, 1 in 1 million chance. He said there's a 1 in 1 million chance that it was occurring. The pay.
1 in 1 million chance.
It says there was a 1 in 100 million chance that it was occurring by chance.
Oh, just by chance.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so Google and the Labor Department are battling in court over how much data the company needs to hand over as part of a review of its pay practices.
Well, it's a lawsuit.
And Google said it's already handed over 1.7 million data points and 329,000 documents as part of the inquiry that the Labor Department was overreaching in its request for more information. So now the thing is that this has been going on. This has been going on for a while. Because there was this one article, one part of the article where the one of the ladies had been there for 11 years, left in 2016, said in the suit that she was denied opportunity to gain status as a technical employee. Such employees earn more than non-technical employees.
Right.
So she did not gain the status despite having more than 10 years of experience as a network engineer and manage a Google team made up mostly of technical staff members.
So what makes this disturbing is HR and the management. It's systemic right there within Google. It's not the employees, it's the management, because the management decide what pay they get. They decide what grade they get. There's a lady who came in 2010, and she said, hey, look, I came in with my college. I'm a college graduate, and I have 4 years experience, and I came in as a level 3. Within a few weeks of our hiring, they brought in another guy who had college for 4 years earlier, but he came in as a level 4 employee, which means he had a higher salary and more opportunities for bonus raises and stock compensation. The suit says also there was a couple other men that came in at a level 4, but yet she came in as a 3, and it says that she didn't get that. So what's the deal? How can you say weeks after you hired her, the next person with equal or less than, they came in as a level 4? Why? Because she's a woman? Or she didn't have enough qualifications? Oops, can't say that. Because the data says they were equal or less. Mm-hmm. So kind of legitimate right there. But, we don't know the circumstances and everything behind that. But it's kind of obvious. The thing is, it's not actually what they're saying that one of the guys told me. It's not what you deserve, is what you negotiate. If you can't negotiate it, then you're wrong.
Yeah, but she's already in the company.
But she's in the company.
Yeah, it's different.
And the criteria is if you bring in all men in at level 4, but yet you brought her in as a 3. What was the reason for that? Yeah,
you should have moved her up as a level 4. Replace one of the people that came in as a level 3 to put in her position.
Or be smart and bring the people all in as level 3.
Yeah,
and move the ones who's qualified up to level 4.
Yeah, but she's been there long enough. She has the qualifications. She was running the shit.
So she, as it clearly states, it said within a few weeks of her hiring, Google hired a male engineer. Within a few weeks of her hiring.
Okay, I thought she was
not a few years, but a few weeks. That's what made it so obvious to me.
Yeah.
Because if it was a couple of years and then they put that. So here's the issue in a couple of years. in order to attract more people to come to the company, they're giving them a level 4.
Right.
So it's about that.
Right.
But within a few weeks, that's bullshit.
Right.
You blatantly said, I'm not giving the woman the pay. But when the guys come in, I'm going to give him because I want him to stay. Or I think he's more qualified. But his education tells you that he's not more qualified. He's as or lower.
Right.
But you gave them the opportunity to get bonuses and other things like that. So it's ignorant. So they're in for it. They are actually in for a bigger fight with this because Google has to change their culture. They don't have to hire women. They have to change their culture.
Yeah, they do.
And that's what people don't understand. It's not that you got to hire women. You have to change your culture. Because if you change your culture, there'll probably be more women that you will hire.
They have to clean up the mess.
You have to change your culture.
It's
The
been
culture of these people who's been there for years is ridiculous.
Yeah, and they keep trying to bring more people in, thinking that that's going to fix the problem. And it's
Yeah.
not.
But
And
all you do, if you notice, this is another sad thing. If you bring in a whole group of people at once, what happens is, especially if they're minorities or different genders, they just create their own group. Because you didn't change the culture. They're going to keep their culture that they had, and the new group will create their own. So you got separation. So you failed to do what you wanted to do. That's why these companies have, they have the Asian American, blah, blah, blah. You have the African American, blah, blah, blah. You have the women for blah, blah, blah. If you change the culture, you wouldn't have that.
right.
The only reason why these groups are created is because you haven't corrected your culture. And that's what they don't see.
Right. Right.
If that happens, it's better. My company has Somalians, fucking Bhutanese, Vietnamese, African American, Hispanics. We celebrate each and every one of them, each chance. But everybody does that. But we don't have committees. We don't have separate committees. We have a single committee that we bring in and say, what do y'all want to do on your special day? So we're accommodating each culture, but by having people participate with them. That's a really good thing. I've never seen any company do that. So that's great. But when you have a small community like the tech community, that's harder because they have their mind set on what they want to do. And I've been doing this for the longest, so what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? You know what I mean? So it's kind of strange that the management don't see this as a problem. You know, they're too ignorant to say, I don't understand why women aren't here. Dude, y'all talking about how women's boobs and all of this, and they show y'all drunk and these women hanging off of you. Ain't no women want to be hanging out with that. Why would they? Unless they say, look, I'm going to have to sacrifice because I need to get the experience, and right now this is the job that's going to give me that, and it pays well. And then sooner or later it's like, I can't stay here. I can't stay here. The statistics says that. They don't stay. And they don't stay because they're not being advanced. They're staying because I'm not getting advanced. I'm being harassed. I'm being ostracized. Because the one with the black lady on, what was it, the article about Google showing discrimination, she said she was constantly stopped and said, let me see your ID. In the place that she works. But she's constantly being stopped. Can I see your ID? Or what area do you work? And being questioned. And then when she's dealing with the men that she worked with, they ostracized her. They didn't involve her in anything. So again, that's the managers being unaware of what's going on in their own group. Unaware. That's a culture change. And it starts from the top, and then they bring it down. And then you follow up. You just don't say, we got all of them in classes, they know what to do, go out and get it changed. No. After you do that, you go to these individual areas and you do what we used to do. We used to have these, not town hall, but they have these little groups that they say, okay, let's sit down. So how's things going? What do you think about going on? If y'all don't want to say anything now, here's a time that you can schedule with us individually so you can give us some information so we can make your group better. If you don't do that, you'll never know. And if they're not comfortable with telling you, then that's a problem with y'all. But these people believing that you're not going to do anything about it. Somebody's forcing you to do that. So this is why it's so crazy that this is continuing to come out. But it's continuing to come out because they have a cultural problem. Everything you saying, with a small group, you can help them better than a big group like Google. Because they can look around and say, you're right. I hang with them and I keep hearing the same jokes. And yeah, I guess that is wrong. Yeah, I got to stop them doing that. It's obvious that women would be uncomfortable hearing stuff like that. But they may say, shit, you got to deal with this. This is part of the world. You know, we're allowed to say what we want. Well, you'll never have women in your group.
Well, that's why it's the way it is now. Because men don't want to understand how to make things better amongst bringing diversity into a lot of their organizations.
Some do. Some just don't understand. A lot of them don't care. Just like that guy who's saying, I want my voice to be heard. Yeah, your voice is heard.
Yeah.
It's just that nobody gives a damn about your voice.
Of course. So now he's working with the what? He's a what is it? An announcer or talking with the right wing on. You got to believe that he's going to be blackballed from the tech community right now.
I would, because he's a pariah, as they say. No one wants to touch them. I don't want my. Oh no, that's that dude that was from Google. Not only is that guy from Google, he was on the right wing radio or TV or whatever.
Yeah, he was.
No. We don't want no parts of him. So he about to ride that as long as he can.
Yeah.
But again, the people in Charlottesville was saying, take America back, because white men want to have the ability to be superior again. They're on an equal plane in so many different things. It's making them uncomfortable. It's just uncomfortable. But now they're uncomfortable just like the other minorities and women in this nation. We've been uncomfortable for years, centuries. Do I say you deserve it? I don't know. Maybe you do deserve it. Well, I didn't have slaves. Yeah, but you want slaves. You want people underneath you. You don't want to see people as equals. So if you see a woman as an equal who works for your company, they'll be a contributor. See them as equals. Meet them at that same point. Meet the minority men at that same point. Understand that there's some things that you probably need to know about their culture to make your life and their life better, so y'all can share better ideas. If you don't share better ideas, it's not gonna fucking work.
Yeah, that's for true.
That was a lot.
Yes, it sure was.
But again, I think we waited because we wanted to talk about the manifesto before, but stuff kept coming out, and it was more and more and more. So with him writing that, revealed a culture within Google that they got some things that they need to be talking about. Yeah, they got some serious
issues, and I can just imagine all the other tech companies saying, "Okay, shit, they getting called out. We need to clean up our mess before." So all those women that's getting less pay, let's give them more raises.
And they can say, you know what, we've been watching your work, and what we want to do is really congratulate you for what you've done.
The positions are different. Give her another position. Give her that and more money than him. I just can imagine
that they're circling the wagon. And just going from that.
Yes, exactly.
But but again, if you don't address the culture that you had, and then and being honest about it, they've been living with that for the longest. Man.
Yeah, I mean these are tech companies that, as if you're in the tech community, you can dream to work for them. You could just you want to work for them.
But there's people that always wanted that.
And then you realize is that they are not the best companies to work for.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the honest and truth.
As a woman.
No, that's overall.
As a minority.
As a
white man, that's the great company to work for.
I mean, I heard a lot of rumors and a lot of stuff about people talking about just companies overall saying, even though they're the biggest companies, you heard the people who work for them talk about the experience they had with them.
No, I got you.
Those are the things you hear more of than you hear the good.
No, I got that too. I mean, I got all of that. That's pretty cool. But the problem is, if you start back in the early 80s, 70s, you still had a culture of white people are in here, and we have spots of minorities and women that was there. Some of those people are still there. Let's look at Apple. How many people were on stage doing the keynote? It was one woman,
Yeah. And she wasn't technical.
and she wasn't tech. So the thing is, you look at that, and you still have the same people going up there. Is it because of ego? Okay, I got that. But if you want to present who you are and appreciate the people who helps you with these things, and they happen to be women or minorities, why wouldn't you show it? Mm-hmm. If you want to recruit more women, if you want to recruit more minorities, the best way to do it is show that you have people there. Mm-hmm. If you keep showing that all you have is these old white men, that's a problem. We just had the podcast on actually sports. If all the owners are old white men, you're going to always understand that their control and their perspective is always going to be do what we say.
Yeah.
Just do what we say.
Because we got them. I got the money. I'm paying you.
I'm paying all of y'all.
Yeah.
I own this.
Yeah.
Which means I own you.
Yep. Yep. You're right.
It gives you a perspective. And how many people, other than saying, well, I make $100 million, bro. Why I need to care? I said, because the owner is making $1 billion off your ass. Mm-hmm. And actually, you're part of a well-paid slave.
Yep. You're right.
That's it.
Yep.
The tech community is smaller but bigger in certain ways. It's a small community but bigger in a lot of ways because their influence is way, way bigger.
Right.
You know.
So that is what we got to talk about Google.
So in closing, I think one of the biggest highlights that Alicia, in my opinion, what Alicia says is when you're talking, always not just clearly say you need to have more women here. You need to have more men, minority men here. You have to really say, what is your culture to bring these women in? What is your culture to bring more minorities in? What is your culture? Look at your culture and look at the culture that you're bringing in. If your culture is void of things that women and minorities do, you're going to have a problem. If it's void of that, you're going to have an issue.
And again, in closing, is the fact that if you are someone who work for a company that you see that needs a change, they really need to consider get a consultant in to get the perspective for understanding how to bring those kind of people into the women and the minorities into their organization.
Absolutely.
I mean, just don't assume that just because you put a job description out that you're going to draw in hundreds and hundreds of women and minorities, because that doesn't work.
Yeah.
It doesn't.
Well, if they qualified, no.
And that's like the number one problem when it comes to trying to hire those women and minorities is that job description. How do you draw them in from that? And so those are the things that if you're not getting any, that's where you need to bring a consultant in.
Look at where you are and what you're presenting out there. Because what you're presenting out there is reflective. Mm-hmm. People are now, there's jobs out there for the qualified.
It sure is.
There's jobs for the qualified out there. So they're going to look at all aspects. If I'm looking at you, do you have a Facebook page? Do you have a LinkedIn page? Who are you dealing with in the community? Who are you doing with nonprofits? Who are the people that's in charge? Let me see their background. People do the research on the company they're going with. Because if they got a job and they just want something better, they got time to search you out because you're looking for someone and you're in desperate need. Because we even saw that on the documentary Code. There's going to be thousands of engineers they need. Mm-hmm. And the more startups that they have, the more need of qualified people that they're going to need.
Right.
And if they leave these Googles and GitHubs and all of that and start their own company, those companies got to backfill.
Yeah.
So one way or another, there's a continuous amount of coders and engineers and developers that they're going to need. But these developers and engineers and coders are going to say, I'm not going there. I'm not working for Uber. Are you crazy? I'm not working for Google. What, are you stupid?
Yeah.
That's how they're looking
Yeah.
at it.
Yep. That's
So.
exactly right.
So thank you very much, Women Tech Talk with Alicia, host for Women Tech Talk, and you can get to see her on Coffee Women in Tech.
Yeah, my website, Coffee Women in
Coffee
Tech.
Women in Tech, and then you can get her on
Find
Twitter.
me on Twitter, find BLK Woman, as well as Instagram.
On BLK.
Find BLK Woman.
Woman with an A-N. That's Alicia. Find me on Bougie Black Brother, bougieblackbrother.com. If you want to just see the tech, just go to iTunes or Google Play. I've been finding out people don't even go to Google Play. I don't even get that. But iTunes, go on iTunes, Women Tech Talk. You get all your tech. If you want to see part of the whole Bougie Black Brother Network, just go on Bougie Black Brother Network, and you can see all different kinds and go from that. But you can follow me on Bougie Black Bro on Instagram and IG. I'm still on Tumblr too, so you can hook me up on Tumblr. And we're building the Facebook page for the Bougie Black Brother Network. So thank you so much. And there's still stuff coming out. We already talked about the Apple. So as soon as we get some information back on that, and we probably do an open box on that, as soon as that comes out, we get our phones, we're going to do an open box and do your YouTube and podcast once we get it. And what you got, boo?
That's about it.
Well, thank you very much, and we'll see you soon on Women Tech Talk.